Well, welcome everybody. Welcome to the market close, my favorite time of day. And I finally have a reason, guys, to actually drink some coffee on the stream. Because guess what? It's morning here in Australia, about 6:30 a.m. This is the dedication that it takes to trade the best market in the world, the American market. I hope everyone is having a fantastic day out there. Even though I know it's down and it looks red and it looks scary, we have plenty of things to discuss. And this is always seen as an opportunity for the longer term investor anyway. So, there's a lot of key levels for us to be looking at into this close. We've got about half an hour till it happens. We have important levels pretty much on the S&P 500 that we need to be looking at. And I want to say a big thank you to LS for becoming a member. Also, all of you guys for joining us for this session, and Joel G for being an OG subscriber. New Zealand, $2 with the super sticker. Not a bad time to be in New Zealand. David Taylor, also, thank you very much. Appreciate it, sir, for coming in with the membership there. Wow. Whew. It's red. It's really, really red. Is it bad? Is it bad or is it okay? Let's talk about the Nasdaq to start with. Then we'll go into the S&P because this close is important for the S&P. Do we actually get underneath a 4,300 close? Specifically, that last low on the SPX. We'll be taking a look at that soon. We also need to understand a little bit about options flow. I'll be doing a video after this live stream where I'll go over all the numbers and quickly crunch them for you guys as well. So we'll find out what exactly is going on there. Let's quickly look at this NASDAQ. So here's our theoretical bottom end channel. And you'll notice that you're starting to get in the territory of where investors should be looking at it going, this actually is not too bad at all from the perspective of a correction. You're down about 8.44% from the peak. As a NASDAQ drop, that's pretty good. Around 8 to 10% is a nice level. Generally, I would usually take those in most years from a perspective of investment. It's a different type of thing, but if you're basically crunching stats at this point and you need to look over other ones, you need to say, okay, what do we got here? We got 12%. Okay, that's a decent pullback. Are you always going to get the perfect level? Probably not. There's an 8% right in the middle. So you'll notice there it is. There's a 10%, pretty much where we're getting right now. And over here is a 13%. So what you'll notice with corrections, what are we noticing there? Between 8, 12-ish% is pretty much the norm. So we're in that territory. We are, again, just to correct it, around 8%. So we're on the kind of lowerish side of the pullback. Between 8 and 12, that standard pullback in a still bullish market. Now, a few people are saying, are we technically bearish right now? Remember, technical bears only come in at 20%. So the bear market only begins at really 20%. Yes, I know that seems incredible, but that is actually what happens. We are not in a bear market. We are in a corrective market at this stage. Let's read some of the comments coming in here. John Hines says, glad you're wide awake and happy, Tom. I'm miserable and exhausted. I won't read the last bit. Very good. No worries. Red as the crayfish dinner. That's right. I've been told by Americans I have to call it lobster now, even though we call the big one crayfish here. I know it's backwards in America. It's like jam and jelly, guys. It's like jam and jelly. Bought some Facebook panic. Yes, we'll look at some key stocks here into the close. We've got 27 minutes till the close. NASDAQ around that level of support. But let's move over to the key market here. This is going to be the key one, S&P 500. Let's have a look at the SPX. So we'll use the real market here. Now, where has our previous daily close been? So our previous daily close happened at 43. Let me just quickly grab this. 43, or was it 42.90? No, 43. Yeah, 43. They're all 43s. So anything underneath 43, I think is a big deal. We have a downward trend line that we can now extrapolate out where we get really, really uber bullish. We can now go into something like a 4-hour and we can start to think about the really key levels. So let's get rid of this thing for a second here. We got 4,300. It moved up just before I was watching it. I actually expected a small rally based on the intraday trade. The rally came up and smacked straight into that level, that 43.05. And I expected that to be a little sell-off. But this close here is the key for today. We get underneath, I believe further selling happens, and we start to talk about 42.35, 4,200, and then possibly even the 4,050. Now, if all of this stuff happens and we do get underneath, remember the Nasdaq channel is not going to hold. So the Nasdaq channel can only, maybe it can handle the S&P 500 coming down to maybe a 4,200 and a small rotation to occur. But I don't believe the Nasdaq channel can hold should the S&P 500 collapse here into the 4,050. We're going to get lower than we would have hoped to have gone. And then what you're hoping for with that channel hold is more of a bullish kind of pin or a bullish hammer. So this 43 is really important. 42.95. We'll be watching this together into the close. As I always mention, the close is the key. And I really like this level here as well now. So this is that 43.80 area. 43.80. The reason I like this so much is we've rejected once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times from that zone. So imagine if you do end up getting a turnaround and you start breaking through there. Do I think a lot of bulls are going to come back into the market here? Yes. And then that downward trend line trajectory, once that occurs, I believe the bulls are back in and they'll probably control the bears. So for now, bears firmly controlled. This is the next zone, 42.35. Should the market actually close underneath, let's say 42.90, that's the next zone I expect it to happen. It might even futures sell off into that zone and we may open gapped below there tomorrow. Remember, if we gap below, what do we expect? A rally to fill the gap. And then if the bears are going to continue, they'll sell it back off. So some interesting stuff. 4,300, we'll watch it together right now. We're going to be here for the close, of course, happening. When's the OPEC meeting? You just need an economic calendar, really, if you want to check it out. It's all day on the Monday. It probably already has been happening. And yeah, you can go check that out yourself if you wanted to. Go quickly search OPEC meeting. You'll pick up when they're meeting and what they're talking about. Here's the US 100 Nasdaq in terms of the 15-minute chart. You'll notice again, tries to rally above that 14,480. So 14,480, fails to rally. 15-minute rejection straight back into those lows. So yes, we'll be watching it. Interesting. Old Tesla. What a tank. Would have had a good day. Could it have not been a big red day? Decent, well, I guess deliveries, you would say, of vehicles. Actually got above 800 for a few seconds there and then came straight back down. So does this one have some type of price elasticity? The whole market's tanking and Tesla is up 0.59%. That is a good sign for Tesla fangirls and fanboys because the price action is still very strong. Yes, it's down. Yes, it hit the 800. Yes, at this level, I'm sure many people would have taken profit. If it had closed above 800, do we think that allows further mass bullishness? Yes, and we will continue to watch this point. But it's not going to happen today. So Tesla will be stuck in the range, waiting for the market to rebound. It should be pretty strong out of the gates, though. So if the market rebounds, this stock in particular has been quite strong in this pullback. And for people who have been in here, they've barely even felt the punishment of the market. OPEC agreed on modest output increase. No, not much change. Yeah, they will not punish oil right now. It's in their best interest to allow oil through this resistance, which is what's happening. You'll notice oil going up, possibly another reason why the markets are shaking a little, because this rally here in oil, once this does print its close above 77, points to the next level for oil. And guess where it is? 86. Remember, oil is manipulated by OPEC and the other guys. So if it's manipulated, once it gets to a price that they're all happy with together, they will manipulate it back down by increasing barrel output. They will do it. They are desperate to do it. Remember, their balance ledgers kind of look like this. Over here, they have like a few dollars. And over here, they've got the debt. And it's just dollars everywhere. Debt dollars everywhere. And they're eventually going to have to pay these debt dollars off. They're pretty sad about them. But over here, they're like, well, we need to increase the price before we punish the oil price. We need to get that price elasticity back. People need to start paying a higher amount. It's all about manipulation, guys. Thank you very much for joining us as well. 730 of you already joining us for the close. I do appreciate you guys. I know it's pretty crazy out there. Walva says Axe Infinity. What do you mean? Thanks. My shell only went up, which means we are in the clear, says Alpha T. Exactly. Julia Dan says, hi, Tom. I want to sell some NVIDIA puts at 195. Should I wait a bit more? Well, you're going to have to make that decision, but we will look at NVIDIA for you in a second. Big move here on oil, by the way. This closure is a big deal, should it occur. Big deal. Big deal. Huge. NVIDIA 195. Ooh. Yeah, I would wait for more information personally. You're selling puts, so you better be damn. And you either want to execute. It really depends on your plan. Is your plan that you want to buy it at this price, or is your plan that you want it to expire worthless? If you want to buy it, then maybe you could do it. If you are wanting them to expire worthless and you're selling a put for that reason, then this is probably not the zone. The idea of selling a put is, unless you want to expire it, you generally don't want to get hit. So right now you're just you're literally guessing. That's called a guess. How do you figure out that 195 is good or bad? It's broken below that. It's smashed the little trend line that we had here. And 179 is the next logical conclusion for something like NVIDIA. It's a pretty bad close for it. Take a look at Apple. Apple will be the linchpin. This is a very negative close here, guys, should it occur. Bad close for Apple. I think unlikely that this is pretty much showing us, take a look at this. So we have a bullish style. We have a rejection candle, weakness candle into our support. We then get that bullish pin bar style, no follow on. And now we're about to close underneath it. I don't know what you guys think, but that looks bearish to me. And if this is the signal that we've been looking for in terms of just, waiting a little bit further off here on these ones, it makes me think that 4,300 on the S&P is going to get broken close below, because once you get underneath here, you allow Apple to move down to that 135, 130 area where our bigger trend line is. Hey, I'm excited. I don't know if you guys are excited. We've been expecting this for a while. We copped a lot of crap here on the channel in August and September because the market was euphoric. It's coming back. It's kind of doing what we thought it would do. I'm excited, and I think that you guys should see this as an opportunity potentially for your not only your knowledge and, of course, using actionable data, but at the same time for these key levels that you might be looking at. The Bev 30 says, sure, we are about to correct 20%. Ooh, that seems a bit brutal. I don't want to correct 20%. I just like to correct around to this level. This trend line will make me happy. I don't want no 20%. That's a bit gnarly. If that happens, why? So US 500, you'll notice pulled back up so far to 4,300 here to close. This is the exciting past the close. This is the fight zone. They are literally, it's Fight Club right here. The Bulls and the Bears have had this all day at this point. And you may think, well, Tom, it's just in the same range. I can tell you right now, the importance of this close to the Bears is a big deal. You get it and you smash it underneath, back down to these levels it's already been at today. And you are effectively saying to the market, have a free for all. Let's go to the next support, just like we've seen before. Remember, participation phase is really important. If you close above 4,300, what you're telling the market is, oh, not yet. We might be on the buy the dip. We're really not showing you the weakness that you think is in the market. You're all scared. You're sitting there looking at your 2.3% downs and everything. But we're saying, oh, not just yet, guys. Not just yet. We don't want to fall any further. Here's where the futures have traded throughout the day, and obviously the real market. You'll notice that little bit of resistance at 43.08. So some people will be looking for that to close above, and then they'll be looking to rally that into that 43.30 area. Remember, it's a decent base. Most of the trade session is sat down here. So this is a key resistance that we'll be watching over the next bit of the close. Jay Nibble, CHF $5. Thoughts on hubs? Have been averaging down all day. Average, wow, that's all day, man. You've been buying quite a lot of averages, it looks like. Average price is close to 645, but just stupid trading from me. Yeah, probably. I'm not going to lie, Jay Dibble. It's not good to average in one day did not wait for confirmation. Well, that's probably the main problem. You didn't wait for the confirmation. Let's move over to this. Let's take a look at it for you, sir. If you're buying a solid company, I'm sure. Look, trading, investing, a little bit different here. Okay, so you bought right there. Yeah, you shouldn't really be buying underneath this. So theoretically, this resistance becoming a support zone is okay to look at. But what you're looking for then is you're looking for confirmation. Now, this confirmation could be, and I wouldn't blame you if you had a price up here about 684 and you had first entry. What do we talk a lot about in this channel? Scaling as the trade presents higher peaks, higher, like literally new highs, new time frame confirmations. That's one of the keys to trading that I didn't understand, that I think most people don't do. They just go all in. We're just like, yeah, I'm buying it. I'm buying Apple at 135 all in. When the smarter trader will do what Wall Street does and they'll scale into the position. Look, is this going to be shocking for you? I doubt it. I think you've got some nice base at 600. Previous resistance. You've got that trend line coming through the last lows as well. And I hope it just kind of bounces off that area. But you're in the middle of nowhere land here at 632. You've got a 645. My thought process is around that 600. Previous resistance, trend line. Hopefully that's where it bounces. And what you're looking for here is, of course, smaller time frame lightning bolt. 43.05 for the S&P 500 coming into the close. Just under 15 minutes here till these nasty Wall Streetians finish it. That'll be good to look at. Scott Morgan, BSX weekly going back to 04 close, plus 46 game on BSX. Boston Scientific, 42.52. Pretty bad price action recently for this one. Another stock that looks a bit sick. This is certainly a previous resistance becomes support area, but that's a massive trend line bust. No matter how you really look at this, no matter what trend line you're really looking at here, it is a trend line bust. Not a fan. I would want to see more information here on BSX unless you like the company a lot. Lunch Money says, Tom, put 1 minute chart for the last 15 minutes of close to watch tick by tick, maybe a 4x4 graph. Yeah, we'll watch this US 500, but I think we've already figured out where exactly the key levels are. And that is going to be that 43.08 resistance smash. And of course, we're looking for a closure underneath 4,300 for the bears to be more in control of this market. Futures, though, this is a key level for futures traders. Should the market go above here, I'm sure some futures traders will buy and try to look for a rally to at least fill to that 43.30. That would be something that I could see futures traders doing. Can you go over BTC and ETH, says PK Subban? We certainly will. Let's go over some stocks, though, into the close. We talked about Apple. Apple's a big one. Daily here, daily underneath this last wick rejection. Big deal. We'll check that out. We'll keep watching it. Let's have a look at Amazon. Amazon straight on support here. This is our support line, 31.84. There it is on the close. Whew, not bad. Amazon notoriously strong in November. October crap, but November pretty good. That's not a trade level, but certainly a zone that some people will be liking, that 31.80. Underneath here, we expose 3,000 again for Amazon. So it'll be either a little bit of a dip buy or it'll be short, sharp, and sweet and straight back down to that 3,000 level here on Amazon. Let's take a look at Square. Square back to 225. I suspected as much for this stock. I've been almost intimate with the Square over the last 12 months, or at least the last kind of year. And this stock, when they bought Afterpay, I smelled it. It smelled like a rat, and title was a mistake, and they're not doing anything. So until they actually do something, when I'm not interested in this stock, and I'm dead serious, Jack. Come on, man. We need to see some action. We need to see some action. But yeah, Square 225. So middle of nowhere land. 220 should be support. And then after that, it's the big 200. And look, I'm very interested at 200. Very interested in Square at 200. That would be a fantastic level for it to occur. Take a look at Google. Google continues weakness. Again, pulling up here into the close. You notice how pivotal this last couple of minutes is going to be today. There's a big fight here. We might even watch the fight into its continuation. End phase too early, as we saw. Microsoft doing absolutely nothing. Again, no new low. Let's see if we get that into the close. And we'll go through what are some other stocks that are getting beaten. T-Doc, just unbelievably terrible. Just keeps getting belted. Roku, new low. Wow. Look at that. Almost a monster double top here on this stock. Very nasty. Airbnb down 4.81 underneath the 20 moving average. Another weakness sign here. Netflix holding pretty damn well. PLTR down 5.1%. Oh, this stock kind of makes me think, 2022, 23, but maybe back to 2050. PayPal down pretty hard as well, thanks to Square. Unfortunately, I feel like this is now after it got under here. As soon as it got underneath that 267, it looks pretty damn weak. AMD down 2.35 on support at the moment into the close. Snap right on support. Could be an interesting zone for some people here for Snap. You got support, previous resistance, and you've got earnings in 22 days for a potential rally. Some price elasticity recently, increase in volume. And you'll notice the buying was actually bigger than the selling here. So Snap right on support here into the close for sure. PL trash. Yeah. Facebook, we'll check it out. I'm not sure if it's PL trash, but the price action is, yeah, it's what I think happens with companies that are not very long on the stock market. You know what I don't like, and that's a company that's not on the stock market for very long. Ant-Man, New Zealand, $5. Please take a look at SoFi, more downside. We'll check it out soon, Ant-Man. Thank you as well to the almost 1,000 people. This is our first stream close, so I appreciate you guys being here. Facebook, ooh, it's almost hit our 320. That was our first zone. And why? Because it was the daily 200. And we know if we go through daily 200 that Facebook kind of likes the daily 200. There's 2 touches there, a little bit of resistance. And then recently we've got 2 touches to the Facebook daily 200 as well. Very, very close to a level that I'm sure some investors will come in at. And then we've got the magical 300 behind that as well. Hopefully that, let's say that occurs, that will mark the bottom of this pullback should we get underneath. Look at that US 500 now, 42.93. 8 minutes to go here. Very bearish close. Should it get underneath 42.90? 43 is what we wanted underneath, but 42.90 plus underneath, ooh, nasty. Check out SoFi. A lot of people ask me on the close, oh, Tom, when do you buy? When do you sell? When do you do those things? The reason you will look at the close, guys, is because let's say it closed on 4,300 and you were looking at the futures. There might be your favorite stock and you think, well, it's on support anyway. I'm prepared to buy it here regardless. And I think there'll be a bounce in the morning. Even though I might be bearish on the market, I think there'll be a bounce because it closed on the support. Remember, when a market technically closes on a support, there's a good chance the futures will rally after that period. That's the thought process that goes behind the close trader. The open trader is looking for different reasons to be in for the day trade. The close trader is looking for the scenario of what's happening between now and the futures market into tomorrow, into the next session. SoFi here, $16, still hanging around that previous little bit of resistance, becoming a support zone here, man. Do I like it? No. Is it there, Ant-Man? Sure. Has there been increased volume on it? Yes, we know that the volume has been up pretty heavily here on this particular pair, but it's just doing nothing for me. I mean, it's down 2.4%. It's on support. I wouldn't be scared, but I wouldn't be like, wow, I feel great. 2 hour, like that. Once it gets through there, you can kind of, have a bit of a smiley face and celebrate at that point. For now, not really. John Glassy, $5. INFN and JBSS if you can. I don't even know what these are. Infineon Technologies. Probably should know what this is. $52 billion. In a range, sir. Full on channel, or at least a pretty much a channel. It's the middle of nowhere land. Big supports at 37.60-ish. So a little bit of support around here from buyers. And in this range would be where I'd box. If you wanted to buy this particular stock, you'd be boxing this area here and then looking for your turnarounds story. Underneath this 36.20, not good for this stock. Let's take a look at your... Oh, wait, this is not the right one. I had FN. Inferior. Not good. This is much worse. The story here is bad on the price action. You got a series of lower peaks coming into this low. Generally, when you see lower peaks, it's telling you the weakness is there. Every rally, remember, the story is the most important part of this price action. Every rally has been met by selling before it can make a new peak. Now, if it had gone like this, a little bit different story, but the story here is bad. It's basically saying, do not buy this support unless you have brass, because you do not want to get involved until you see more action. You want all of these series of lower peaks to at least be blown past. And once that occurs, you can say, okay, the momentum is coming back into this stock. At this stage, no, it has not. It is support. I don't like it. I do not like it. JBSS. Another stock that this one hasn't really got good technical analysis on it. It's had an okay couple of trades before, like the rally here. This is not one of them. Resistance currently sitting around 85 with the 50 moving average. So I would just go right there. I expect buying into that point and then potential sell-off. It's not a strong chart, unfortunately. Thank you very much, John, for your donation. Turnaround Tuesday, people are saying. Facebook down to 316, 320, and then 300 the way you're looking at it. Love you doing the close, Tom. Much better for us Kiwis. Yeah, Kiwis are tough in the American market. Great to do the close, though, for American market. So we're at 4,300 here, 3 minutes. Let's watch it. We'll watch both markets come in. Let's watch the SPX on the 1 minute. Might as well do it here. You can really see this war between these two. And then we'll watch the NDX as well on the 1 minute. So the Nasdaq will close below, the previous kind of lows. It's clearly the weaker market, but the SPX is the one. This is the leader of the markets overall. So this is the gravy train. If it can hold above 43, that's a big deal. That will allow futures traders to come in, look for buying the dip, push it through 43.08, and look towards that 43.30. Julia Dan, $10. Thank you so much, Tom, for great TA. No worries. You are the best. Appreciate it. Thank you very much. Yeah, I do enjoy the mornings, guys, for me, and the closes for you. It's a much better lifestyle for me, I can tell you that. The opens are brutal this time of year. US opens get to 1:30 a.m. And believe me, once you're doing a 1:30 and then you might sit around for an hour, you feel like trash. Anyone done night work out there? I don't know how you guys do it. Night work is atrocious. It's the worst. Like if I was a baker, I would quit my job. My mate's a baker. It's rough business. 43. He should trade. That's what he should do. Looks like we're going to close right on this 43. Here we go. 30 seconds. The old inconclusive close, the sneaky business that Wall Street likes to do. So in closes, just so I can, oh, we got 999. Give us some likes so we can get over 1,000, guys. So when you're looking at closes, remember one of the key things that you want to be looking for as a stock trader is if you see this. So if you should always be a bull. So generally speaking, we want to be bullish. There we go. 43, 47. So futures now jumped a little bit. But why I say this is because if you get these kind of candles, so you've got a rejection, then you get a bullish close coming in that last minute. And especially if you have a little bit of aftermarkets trade, you could get into this trade here on the close with the idea that it will generally gap the next day up. Because what it's telling you is it's saying all of the stops that were behind these 2 wicks, so the stop losses that were sitting there, they've been basically belted at the close. Those stops have been hit. Potentially they're margined. So potentially they'll need to be obviously rectified the next day. And then on top of that, you've also got this strong momentum play here. You'll be able to see all of the daily volume that's gone through. So you'll be able to tell if people have really invested heavily in that particular stock. And that's very, very important to look at. So we get an inconclusive close here, bit of a pain. I guess if I was going with it, I'd go more bullish than bearish in the futures action now, because 4,300 is not 42.90 underneath. And I know you think, oh, 10 points, what does it matter? It matters. It all matters. Everything matters. It's all psychological. People like me, people like you, people on and Wall Street, they will be watching these closes, and algorithms get involved depending on the level. Remember, it's all about the algos nowadays. It's about those things. 43.08 on the futures action from the channeling down here. Futures traders will be looking for 43.08 closures, and then of course further move up to try to fill into that 43.30 area, the low here, and the resistance. That's kind of how I look at the market now. Sandollar77 says 1,006 viewers. Please mash the like button. Appreciate it, Sandollar. Appreciate it. Thank you again, Julia Dan. Wanted to be here for the new format, though I'm late. No worries, Peter. You've come in. Thank you very much. Okay, we'll look at crypto in just a second here. On the 10-minute, the SPY closed with a hammer. Yeah, the SPY really did close pretty well. I mean, 4,300 is not, a shocking time. If I put 10 minutes in here, I guess I could do this. Let me add the 10-minute for you. So there it is. It's just more of the same. It basically gives you the go-ahead that futures action will be more bullish than bearish, and then they'll wait for Wall Street to punish it in. That's the mystery of the close. The mystery of the close is generally if it stays on a support, that elasticity of the buyers comes into the futures market, then Wall Street try to belt that down. So say like here on the Nasdaq, they might go for that 14,560 kind of fill, and then we find out what happens next. That's when you watch more of these closes, you'll see the action. You'll see how it works out. Musti says, ladies and gentlemen, the casino is closed. Yeah. Skinnerino's man, $2. Can you please analyze ILMN? Certainly will. Let's move over to the Bitcoin market because that's actually been pretty damn good. So let's take a look at this Bitcoin market on the daily. Huge closure here. Expect alts to start rallying behind Bitcoin. This is a massive close. So we've got, not only have we now smashed through 45,000, but then we've moved ahead of this level, and it looks like we're going to get that daily close above. Now, the daily close here will close in 3 hours 55, but let's just look at an 8-hour closure, which is just as good. And that 8-hour closure, 3 hours 55, long leg doji. So you can see the importance of this closure. Let's check out a 4-hour. 4-hour has closed above. Another long leg doji. This is a big deal. Like I believe Bitcoin is really doing well here. Now, unfortunately for Bitcoin, if the S&P had closed below 42.90 and we saw that sell off down to 42, 42.35, that will lead to Bitcoin still weakening a little bit. Sentiment from the stock market does end up impacting crypto. We've seen that happen quite a few times in the past. So this resistance breakout is big key. I think it's exceptional. I could see 52,000 in the sights here and possibly even new highs off the recent highs. Move over to Ethereum. It's a little bit weaker here in Ethereum. So it's all about the BTCs at the moment. But when money flows out of Bitcoin, what happens? Ethereum goes, then we get the alts going, the big alts, then we get the other one. So as long as Bitcoin can stabilize and continues up, we will start to see a movement into the alts. Very strong chart here from Bitcoin into the back end of the American market. Also, US oil, I'll cover that in today's video because that's a big deal. ILMN. This is bad. What can I say, man? Falling knife. It's a falling knife. I don't like falling knives. I don't buy falling knives. I don't know why it's coming down so much. It is around a technical support, but it's like getting cut up here. Catching this is like getting stabbed with a knife. Do you really want to do that? I don't. Look for turnaround stories here. Look for bases on the smaller time frames. Yeah, there's nothing else to say about it. It is what it is. Britsu says, interesting, the BTC is going up and coin going down. Yeah, I think it looks like coin only goes up really on every single one of the coins going up. But that is a point. It could be an opportunity if you like coin. Because Bitcoin, as long as it holds around this area, will push the rest of the coins up. And then, of course, coin itself or Coinbase will go up from that. What do you think about the VIX from Adam? 22.95. It's fine. I mean, the VIX is high. I don't really think much of the VIX once it gets above 20. Once you get above 20, you know you need to be nimble and fast. Really, all the VIX is telling you is be nimble, be quick, be fast. That's what you're looking for. A VIX above 20 means this. If you're in the VIX, I mean, what is it? It's a long leg doji. So even though the market was quite weak today, look at the VIX. It didn't really do much. The market constantly expects fear to ramp. So remember the volatility, that initial spike that happens when it drops, that's one thing. But once the price memory has happened, once it goes back down to that level, the VIX will never be as high. So remember the other day, we hit this 4,300 level on the S&P. And remember, the VIX is derived. This VIX is derived from the S&P. It spiked heavily up to 28. We hit the exact same level today, yet look at the VIX. It's only 23. That's the nature of the beast. If it's happened before, the market is less fearful than when it first happens. So if you ever trade the VIX, remember, be nimble, be quick, and do not expect for you to ever go back to something like an 80 very quickly. That is very unlikely. That VIX is exceptional, and it will not happen every single day. Tomorrow will be better, says Silverliner. Yeah, that close was relatively, I guess you would say, flat to bullish. Here's where the US 500 is. Let's have a look at the SPX. It's a marginally lower closure. Marginally lower is not enough. Still on the 4,300. Let me see if I can pull the stats for you. They should be coming in now. We get the option stats for the day, TR-OI. And then we'll go for, what's today? What's Friday this week? 8th. Just grabbing it for you now, guys. Interesting. So here's the put scenario that's coming through. Get rid of these ones. These are the old ones. So this is the put scenario for the 8th of October. Currently have a 440 on the SPY in terms of where all the calls are. We have the 460. Who the hell knows who's buying that, but good luck to them. And then we have a massive base. We've got a put wall forming here at 420. So if we were looking at the perfect expiry zone for Wall Street come Friday, it would most likely, based on this chart, be in this area here between 420 and 440. And I would think, based on all these puts as well that are coming in, and the fact that they could make a lot of money if they pushed it down to this level, because a lot of puts would be open. Look at this put increase. I just deleted the other one. That's a huge put increase on where they were on the weekend video. I would like them to close it here, about 42.35, 423, 420. That would be the lobster lunch this week if you could get it in here. So remember, we use these put and call walls to show us a range that we expect the market to stay within. Then if the TA should agree with that, and if the TA does agree with that, then it gives us really good target levels to look at. So if the market does weaken, we have a 420 put wall. What time is it in Australia? About 7:10 a.m., Silverliner. 7:10 a.m. Have you already looked at Amazon? Amazon closed right on support. Fantastic level for Amazon. What we were looking for, actually. For 31.80. Post-market 31.92. US 543.06. Tesla. Let's have a look at the Tesla post-market. Post-market flat. Closes 0.81, 781. Almost got above 800 here. Let me pull the Tesla stat. Pull the Tesla stat for you. Won't be fully updated, I'd say, but have a look. 800, again, a problematic call area. Puts still here. I'm not sure if this has been updated. And anything in this range is smiley face for Wall Street. If you close above 800, though, on this stock, wow. That would be a big. Big. Take a look at the SPY. Actually, where'd Apple close? Right on the low. Still pretty negative here on Apple. Makes me think there's more to come in the war between the bulls and the bears. Even if the futures go up here, this chart is the unhealthy looking chart. And that is the market in many ways. It's sad to say that almost a few stocks in the market are the market nowadays. You know what I mean? Take a look at the SPY. 428. So 420 would be a fantastic level, and 423-ish around here would be their optimum profit-making target for Wall Street should they close it this week. I was playing with the idea of taking legs. So what that means, you take the distance here, and that distance you extrapolate again out, and it should show you the next level. And you'll notice that goes to a 420, which is one of our aims. And our overall larger aim here, should the market really tend to weaken back to a nice, healthy correction, would be to go from here to the 50. That's 10.43%. This would be a fantastic drop. And I know it may not seem like it, but that would be very smiley face for me. Mostly because it shows a healthy market pullback and gives me even more confidence in the bull run over the longer term. People want gold and silver. Let's have a look at gold. Not really too interested in gold. I know it's bulling. This is my downtrend on gold. So that got smashed, which is fantastic for gold traders. If we then go down to a 2-hour here at the close, you basically have a resistance that's being closed above. Got two rejections, 1770. You're looking for a new high off that, and then a movement towards that 1780 resistance. So 1770 to 1780 could be something you're looking at over the next 24 hours. Silver, same thing. You're just basically following the gold trade. US oil, the more interesting one. Big closure above 77. Looking for a pullback back down to 77 now, and then rally opportunities to take into 85. It's a big deal, this closure. I'll put it in perspective. Go to the weekly. Take a look here. Look at this. Bam. Fantastic closure. Wow. Silverline says, I can't complain. I did well today. I sold prog before the crash. Massey says, every social media platform is crashing. Is that true? A new Tesla was going to hit 800 finally. Oh, you knew it was. Yeah, it did. But it needs to close above 800 to get crazy. 80% on Tesla calls today. You must have closed off. Well done. You don't think oil was a safe haven today versus tech? Nah, not at all. It's just the OPEC meeting. That's all it is, Chris. The OPEC meeting, if they said in the OPEC meeting, oh, we're going to, we're not going to marginally improve the amount of oil, then of course, due to shortages out there, regardless, because of all the storms and other things, you get oil rallying. It is a manipulated market. I do not hold oil long term often because I know that OPEC comes in and smashes the barrels. And I also know their ledger sheet, as I said before, is bad. So if you have a bad ledger sheet due to the COVID pandemic stuff, then they'll allow it to get up and they'll manipulate it up, but then they'll crush it because they need to make money. It's like literally, it's like full on manipulation. Full on. Facebook, IG, and WhatsApp went offline. So basically, just all of Facebook's companies went offline. Any guess on payroll results? No, don't guess on them. No point. No point, unfortunately, to guess on non-farms. Scott Morgan, $2. Does UNP double bottom make sense? Let's have a look at UNP for you. Union Pacific Corporation. Weekly. Go to daily. Yes. Go to 4 hour. Okay. Go back to daily for a second. Yeah, I mean, it makes relative sense. You've got decent volume pickup here. Somebody's been buying through today's session. It is a double bottom. It hasn't broken yet, but yes, it makes sense. That's what you're looking for in recoveries usually. Go down to like a 2 hour. Yeah, makes perfect sense. You can see the volume increase. The double bottom will proof to around 213 as well. What we mean by proof is you take the distance between it, you extrapolate that, and it kind of proofs into this previous resistance support area. So somewhere in there is where you've got to take your profit if you do take this scale out kind of thing. And you're looking for it to get above this area here, which is the rejection candle, around 206. Cool. Look at SHIB. Not looking at SHIB, Christopher. That annoys me, SHIB. It's a terrible thing, is the SHIB. I'll probably get downvoted. Oh, look, I'll have a look. God help me. Sick. I mean, I'm happy if you're making money from it, but it worries me when this thing starts going. Unfortunately, this is the mockery of crypto, as I see it. I love crypto, but I don't love this. Because when this type of thing goes, the problem with it is it kind of leads me to think gambling is even more prevalent in there. And, people aren't really questioning the project. Now, I don't know if SHIB's got any legitimacy behind it, but not a big fan when it comes out and it goes hard, especially if it rallies hard. Remember, last time, the whole reason the crypto market really crashed was because of Doge and SHIB. They went nuts. Elon was going crazy. Other people were pumping certain coins, and it created a euphoria that was throughout all of these really terrible alts that then created a huge amount of margin and chasing. And that is not healthy for the market. But yes, I did say it before. It's just, it doesn't deserve any more airtime. We get off there. Get out of here, SHIB. So US 500, to recap here, we have a closure at 4,300. It is not enough for us to go off, unfortunately, towards the bear side. In terms of further trades, there were trades today towards the short. I hope you guys did take some nimble, fast, quick trades. There were even some little sneaky things that Wall Street did that I think were pretty manipulatable based on my analysis. We've got that 43.08 kind of high here on the US 500 futures. We have a pull up that's occurred on the 15-minute and 10-minute. We're looking for a closure above here in the Asian session to rally towards the next market. If you do get closure, you get a little bit of a rally. We open somewhere around here, theoretically, and then we start to see what Wall Street wants to do. We close below here through the Asian session. Well, of course, then we're talking about a bust down to like 42.30 area. Sure, that is not true, Matt Pine. Coal going up, yeah. MySpace is mooning. Yeah, I don't think so. Now, I'm not a huge fan of the social medias, but I really like YouTube. I think YouTube's the best of all the social medias. I love these market close videos, Tom. No worries, Jennifer. I work during the market open, so I'm a big fan. Thank you. Yeah, no worries. Look, it's the best thing for me as well. I think I've got to think about everything. I think about the channel. I think about, obviously, community. I know if I could do the opens and closes, I'd do both. I might even have some more announcements in the future about some exciting things that we're doing on the channel. So, yeah, really, guys, it's a bit of red here. We get closures right on where we expect them to kind of happen. The US 100 is underneath. Go back to the daily here. This one, much, much weaker. And this is what tends to make you think, okay, this market might rally a little bit in the futures, but overall, it's still looking bearish. It's still looking negative. We're getting into that investable 8%. We hit the 8%, the magical level. So we're getting into that investable range here now. And this is what I was looking for back in August and September. This is literally what I've been sitting there waiting for the opportunity to be able to do. Now you've got to have your plan. So is your plan that you want to buy Apple? Is your plan that you want to buy Amazon? Is your plan you want to buy the Nasdaq? Is your plan that you want to just be nimble and quick and trade, certain sessions and just, take advantage of the volatility? You've got to have a plan for these processes. I can't exactly tell you what to do because, of course, this is an educational only stream, but that's what the close is about. That's what this whole market pullback should be offering you as an opportunity. Hopefully, you've got a plan. Steve Tyef says closes are so important. Thanks for the switch. Yeah, closes are really key. We didn't get quite what we wanted towards more bear side today, but we can still see what we expect now in the futures market. And this is how you can close. You can take a close trade and you can then expect in the futures market and potentially make a trade or a investment decision based on that. US oil, I can't quite get over the fact that it's above 77. Finally, it took a little while. I'm very happy with US oil. It's been fantastic. Fantastic. Are there any other stocks of interest here? My Intel didn't move down too much. I'm happy with that. Only down 0.72%. Look at it, just hodling there. Little beast Intel. Somebody asked about Netflix before. I'm not concerned about Netflix. It looks fantastic on the charts towards the bull side still. Obviously some volatility here. My plan 645 does not change. The market calendar looks scary this week. Well, we have non-farm payrolls on Friday, so that's going to be a big one. Oh, Massey, I can't semi-disagree with you there. How do we make this non-educational so you can... It's not possible in Australia here, so cannot do that. What you can do is you can take our course if you're interested, fxevolution.com. You can take the Ultimate Masterclass and you can learn to do it yourself. Guys, I want to say this to every one of you out there. If you don't watch this stream ever again, remember to subscribe, by the way. But if you don't, if you go and watch other people, if you go and find your favorite tip from some person on Twitter, whoever it might be, think about it this way. If you don't take matters into your own hands, and if you want to become a trader or an investor yourself, if you're listening to somebody else and following them and not educating yourself on how to do it, what if I die tomorrow? What if I stop doing this? What if somebody else stops doing something that you're following? You lose all the power. You've effectively given them the power of making decisions that you rely on. So you've got to take matters into your own hands if you're going to be an investor. It's a lifelong skill. It's not like 2 minutes. A lot of you have just come in this year. Some of you come in last year. Welcome. It's amazing to have you here. But you've got to be able to do it yourself, guys. PK Subban says, learn how to fish. Yes. Kevin says, Tom rant. Nah, no rant, really. It's just the truth. Tom, can you have a look at the DXY? Yes. Yes, I can. I like the DXY long. Yeah, it's about where you want it to turn around. Pulled back to the 38.2 fib the other day. Didn't quite get the rally you want. Currently on the 50 exponential moving average on the 4-hour, which it has bounced off before. So it's a logical conclusion it should bounce here. Yeah, this is about the area that you're looking for. Let's go down to the 1-hour. Looking for a little bit of lightning bolt action through that 93.85. Maybe might little closure up there would be quite bullish. Some rejection candles underneath so far. Get through that 20 moving average as well, and yeah, allow it to move back up. Not too bad. DXY will be a bad trade this week, though, because you've got to remember non-farm payrolls. If we go back over to the calendar and we look at the calendar here, we have PMI coming out on Tuesday for the US, and we go to the US Wednesday, ADP non-farm employment change. Don't worry about that. It's a trash figure that means nothing. Never is the same. And then we have the big one, non-farm employment change. This is the 8:30 a.m. Friday, October the 8th. So this particular bit of news is what matters. Now, usually the Thursday or especially the Friday, you would not touch the dollar pairs because they'll just sit there and do not much, or they'll be mostly positioning for non-farm. Usually you touch those pairs after. So you got to be aware when you're trading currency and things like that it's when it goes into this week, it can often be a pretty poor week past Wednesday, Thursday. Not much to do. How crazy is Oz right now? Not crazy. I don't know why everybody thinks it's crazy. I've got a lot of messages coming in where people are freaking out and they're saying, oh, Tom, is everyone rioting in the streets and attacking each other? Look, no, guys, it's not like that. Is everyone annoyed? Yes. Am I annoyed? Sure, we are. It's draining. It's terrible being locked in. Haven't had a haircut in a while, guys. It's pretty bad. And no one's happy about it. But there's a select few people that are obviously going nuts. And realistically, I got to give a shout out to the police in Australia. You might not agree with police in some of your countries, but I don't think they deserve to be bashed and stuff by these people. And I personally think they're hooligans. I will leave it at that point. They shouldn't be bashing the police and kicking dogs and stuff. You know, I'm not cool with that. So, yeah, what you read in the media and what really is happening, it happens a few times. It's not insane. It's just like anything. You know, I asked some Americans about something that we heard on the news, and then they're like, what do you mean? You know, it's blown out of proportion. So we don't need to hate. All we need to do is talk about the markets. Silver Lion says, do you think the effects of Evergrande have been felt yet? No way. No way. But they may not be felt either. Remember, that Evergrande situation is shocking. Like 300 billion ain't no joke. Remember, Lehman was what, 60, 70 billion. That problem is more of a systemic issue in the country throughout many, many companies. Believe me, where one is, there are many. We always know where there's one, there's lots, yeah? It's like the canary in the coal mine. But you've got to also remember, if you can sustain that debt level and basically allow that to, you know, fix it, plug that hole, and allow the bad credit not to spread, then all the ones that are tipping can still hold up. It's kind of like the global financial crisis all over again, except I don't believe it's going to blow up. George says Tesla holding because they hodl BTC. I don't agree with that, George. Might be part of the reason, but it is not the main reason. The main reason is they hit deliveries. And let's face it, that's pretty impressive. They've got some bullishness and retail is hodling it. Retail has got some faith. Can we have a look at Barber? Sure. We'll look at Barber. Barber. Where are we? Sure, I had it in here somewhere. There it is. 139. Ooh. So what we say, people keep saying, oh, that's the bottom of Barber. No. Barber is going downtown. 130 is where I believe it goes. Now, 130 is their investable price there. Yeah, probably. But the problem with Barber is it could be taken. Let's say the government kind of take hold of it, which is not unheard of over there. That's your main risk as a shareholder. Right here, that 130 is the key zone. Very important area for Barber. Lou says, just signing in, I remember the news about rats in Oz. Turned out to be a bunch of nonsense. Yeah, we didn't even hear about the rats. I remember you telling me about that. The rats. I don't even think, I'm sure there are rats in Australia. It's like how every Australian thinks that New York has giant rats running around everywhere. Is that true? I don't know. Are there giant rats in the sewers in New York? Maybe there are. You guys, like someone in New York, there's someone here from New York. Is there giant rats? SPY closes basically marginal. So what that means is if you're looking at this chart, you would be like bearish more than bullish. However, because it closes on its support, there's not enough information there. We really just have to go back to the options and you're looking at more the strikes for the week. So in this case, let me just get that one across. Where is our, let me get rid of all these. We don't need these anymore. We did have a SPY chart. Let me just bring that up again. Here it is. Yeah. So the optimum close so far this week for the SPY would be between this area here. So 420 to 440. And optimum will be pretty much where it closed today. But I think they'll try to push it towards that 420, 423. Because if you could close it here, you'll get huge amounts of puts opened. And all of these puts are profit for them. So there's not much puts here. There's a lot of puts here. If I was manipulating the market this week and I was sitting there with the boffins, I was like, dude, how can we make the most amount of money possible? Someone's like, hey, if you push the market to 420, people are going to buy puts. Now do it about Wednesday. Okay, do it about Wednesday, push it down, and then they'll all buy puts at like 405 and 420 and 410, and they've already been buying puts here, and we'll make tons of lobsters, all right? That's what I'll be doing. And I would push it here. I would let it expire. And then we wait for the next week. That would be the perfect scenario for them. The perfect scenario. Someone says Master Shredder is in New York. Interesting. Victor Lau says rats in New York City are massive. When the garbage company had a strike, they all came out and looked like small dogs. Oh, okay. So Master Shredder is real. All right. Well, so maybe it's not fake news, guys. Larger than house cats. No way. Look at this. It's like the drop bears all over again. People are agreeing that the rats are too big in New York. They're both probably trolling me, hey? No one lives in New York City anymore. It's too crowded with rats. There you go. So, yes, perfect scenario would be around that 420, 423 for the closure. Today's marginal positioning close was not enough. We closed on 4,300, pretty much flat. Look at the SPX to get your reading. There it is, 4,300. And if I was looking at today's session, it would be one of those ones I would just kind of float. I would stay clear of. If anything, I'd be going slightly bullish on the gap close, like on the movement over the next, between now and the open. But yeah, very marginal, very marginal. All right, guys. Well, that brings us to the end of this first closed session. Thank you so much for joining us. We've got still 800 people here. I do appreciate the donations. I appreciate the support, the likes, the subscriptions, and everything. I hope you enjoyed the close. It's a big red day, and I wish we had more concrete kind of closures here. I think the only really big one has been US oil. It's a big deal, in my opinion. Bitcoin also is pretty impressive. And some of the stocks like Amazon and stuff really hit very nice support lows. And if they get broken past and close below, Amazon, you can just tell, like, if it gets below here, traditionally it's going to move towards that 3,000. And this is a fantastic opportunity for people in Amazon because we know it has strong November seasonality. And that's into that Thanksgiving, into those sales, Cyber Monday, Black Friday, whatever else sales. And even though I haven't purchased much this year, I'm suspecting that I might be buying some stuff soon. So therefore, if everyone else is like me, which is probably true, they've been hanging off a little while, and we're actually going to potentially be able to get, remember, Amazon price at the 8th, 9th of July 2020. What a horrible investment it's been in Amazon since 2020. That's right, guys. Terribleness. Look at it. Can you believe we're at the exact same point? If you were to take the FANG, it's the worst one. Isn't Amazon a head and shoulders? Try not to find too many head and shoulders. There's too many. Like what you're saying here is you're going to be going like that. And you'll say, here's the left, here's the head, here's the right. And then you're looking for it to pull back down. You can find these patterns everywhere. Think less about the pattern and think more about the price action and what's most logical. Remember, in a short sell, let's say you've got a head and shoulders. Do you really think that this head and shoulders, let's say you call it that, would be able to bust through 3,000 or 2,900 easily? Because the head is massive distance. And then you're going into a seasonally strong time, such as November. Do not short head and shoulders in markets because you will find a lot of them and you'll be wrong most of the time, unfortunately. And they don't go the distance. Now, if it's an inverse head and shoulders in the market, which effectively the right side is a trough, a peak, a higher trough, and then a higher peak. So it's effectively a lightning bolt. You get the tick of approval. That's a smiley face tick. Much, much better. But yeah, it is on support. And the next support is 3,000. 2,900 is the base low. And this is really just a giant range. Ladowski says, I hate IWM, which is the Russell 2000. It's keeping all the good growth stocks down. Yes, this is a giant, massive range of boredom at this point. IWM does suck this year. It's common. Has that initial kind of massive move and then goes back down underneath there. Oil is going to 100, Tom. Oil, my belief, is going to 85 if this holds. 100, that's more of an article write-up. Where do you get close, it always turns around. That's when everyone writes. And I know you're joking with me. But yeah, last time it got here, everyone was talking about $100 oil. We got our first articles, $100 oil. We moved towards the 86 previous supports. You can see how important this level is. Look at this oil. I'll leave you with this. Support, 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 resistance, closure out after a nice pullback retention. And then if we move, most logical conclusion is around this 86-ish. And then after that, obviously 92. And then after that, people will call 100. But I don't believe we'll get up to these levels. At these levels, OPEC will come in and be like, no. We need money. We need money. Give us money. And then they'll manipulate it back down. All right. Catch you, everybody. Bye for now. See you in the videos. I'll be having a video up in the next couple of hours. Catch up. Mac D says, thanks for the heads up on SHIB. I sold half my position. I don't know. Like, I hope you do well, Mac D. It's not that SHIB is bad. Like, it's not that you should sell. It's just you need to understand it's a FOMO style trade. So yeah, scaling is a decent concept. Bye for now. Did the 10-year bonds destroy the market today? 10 years came up, but it wasn't enough. That wasn't the main reason. There's the 10-year. I'll answer this quickly. Chris says, can you take a look at MA? I won't, but I have seen it. Give your opinion on major credit cards. I don't like them as investments personally. I think the next decade's going to be a big game changer. I don't care whether it says American Express, MasterCard, or Visa. Blockchain is going to change this type of thing. And this is specifically a sector that I think is going to come under fire. We saw Amazon the other day move to punish Visa, 0.5% surcharge on Visa on their website. I think you'll see Amazon make their own crypto coin. Obviously, we've got the digital yuan coming through. And because of digitalization of currencies, it's going to be easier for smaller fintech companies to create their own payment structure cards. And you'll see PayPal, you'll see Square, the Cash App thing. MasterCard and Visa, they're not going to let you customize your own MasterCard Visa card. Whereas, and people love that stuff. Like, part of the reason Cash App's so popular is you can customize your own debit card. People love that. And with digital wallets, I believe a lot of them will be left behind. I'm not saying their companies are dead. I just think the exponential growth is coming back out. Agree with me? Don't agree with me? Whatever. That's all good. But that's my opinion. See ya.